This your boy Daniel Lyons and Evans, and as always, you're inside the den, and the next episode starts right now.
May I introduce myself?
What a time, what a time, what a time for a black man to be alive. Living in the struggle while trying to keep our composure. Killing each other while trying to look for that exposure. We all just want to make it, we should do it as a team. Build each other up and they can't even say a thing. Me and all my brothers just stuck together like glue. It's us against the world and you know what we finna do. Woo! Pop a bottle, we in here for celebration. We just wanna be the leaders that's pushing the generation. Take a seat and find your zone for the topic of conversation. Find a way for a positive revelation. Now this really ain't the time to be thinking about yourself, cause we just a bunch of hustlers that's trying to give out some help. We turn the cubs into lions inside of the den. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just wanna win. Hey,
I'll make it do what it do, baby. As always, this is an unrehearsed, unscripted show, and you all know what my next line is going to be. I have my co-host Minnie me here with me. Always on time, he's always on point. And today we have a very special show today. I have a good friend of mine, Anthony Cobb. How you doing, brother?
What's going on?
All right, man. Doing good, man. Doing good, man. Introduce yourself to the world, brother.
My name is Anthony Cobb, and to a lot of people, family guy, Marine, retired. Pillar of the community, I'd like to think, just a good guy to be around, and I like motorcycles, and I like to help people, so that's me.
Well, that's awesome, brother. So, how much time you spent in the Marine Corps?
Altogether, I spent 12 years.
12 years. And where did you go to boot camp at?
Paris Island.
Paris Island, huh?
Paris Island.
Okay. I was actually PMI out there, PMI and martial instructor down there, but I actually went to boot camp in San Diego.
Oh, West Coast Marine.
Yeah, West Coast Marine, and people always talk about West Coast Hollywood Marine and all that kind of stuff, man. Look, so you was in the Marine Corps, man, you did the boot camp, it don't matter where you went, it's not certified.
Most of my career was West Coast, so.
Really?
Yeah, so I did boot camp, East Coast, and I wanted to see something else, so.
Yeah.
Most of my career was West Coast.
But they had me, man, from West Coast boot camp to Cuba and then East Coast, you know what I mean? So I ain't
All
really.
around the world.
Yeah, man, that California life is not for, it's not the business, man.
I enjoy it, man.
It's fun, but it pays to have fun in California, man. Yeah, man, it pays to have fun in California. I remember I went out there, we was in Tijuana, and I think in a weekend, got paid on a Friday, fresh, and then by Monday,
It's gone. It's gone. Especially E3 and above.
oh yeah, you know, E3 can't afford a ham sandwich.
Right.
So this is one of these topics of the show we're talking about today. We got 3 points we're going to talk about. Mental health in black men. We're going to be talking about expanding the interests of the communities that we live in. We're going to be talking about some fellowship, friendship, and networking. And we're going to talk about the MMM, the 3 M's. And so this is something that we haven't really touched on a whole lot on the show that I'm so excited about today, because we really get a chance to dive into some of these topics that a lot of people haven't really heard from us in a while. So first question, man, that we want to talk about is, what's your biggest concern about mental health?
Within our community, I would say my biggest concern, and when I say our community, I mean black men. I would say my biggest concern is the availability for identifying it and treating it. That's my biggest concern.
So how would you identify with somebody dealing with mental health?
I think a lot of times with, instead of being a blanket, and I'm not a professional, but I think it takes someone with life experiences to specifically and very in a detail-oriented way identify an issue well enough to treat it.
I think that, and when it comes down to being an expert or something, I believe that the best experts are the ones that have dealt with that themselves.
Experience, yeah.
because you can tell when someone's lying to you about something because you know what you went through. And I told a story about sometime last year about how I was depressed for a while, man. And I believe that it takes one to be able to recognize one. And if you're going to be doing work with the community and you're trying to impact people's lives, it's important that you know what they look like, what they smell like, and how they think. So when I was going through my depression, I got to the point where I was like on that line, man. Like, if you push me, I'm gone. You know what I mean? And at first, I was questioning, how can someone with as much, confidence and as much faith get to that point that they feel like that? And what God was telling me was, in order for you to be who I need you to be, I need to show you what a line is. You need to feel the effects so you can recognize this in somebody else. I'm talking about to the effects of, if you ever seen somebody jump off a building and you want to know what they feel like the moment before they just jump, like that, the essence of what that feels like. And I went through it, and I'm like, it was like, man, and it has been proven to be true that since that incident or since that time, I've been dealing with more and more people that's going through mental health, which is, if you've been watching the show, people know that that's one of the reasons why I actually started the show, because I wanted to create an environment or platform for men, period. You know what I'm saying? At first I thought about just, black men, but I'm like, I'm my brother's keeper. Whether we black, white, Mexican, or whatever. So let's create a platform for all men can sit down and talk, because one of the things that, if you don't talk about these kind of things, a lot of people suffer in silence, man. A lot of people don't know who to talk to. And we even did the show, I think it was the one that Social Design did, well, who do black men vent to when we talk to somebody. Black men don't go to counseling a whole lot. But when you go and hang out with your partner and have a beer or something, then you can open up to those guys. That's our counseling, you know what I mean? So instead of being all secluded, like, boom, let's create an environment that this is a judgment-free zone. You look around, you see, this is lying, this is inside the den, right? So people here, we speak the same language. So I can tell you some things about me, because I know that there's a 99% chance that you either went through it or you're going through it, you know what I mean? So I believe that we have to, learn how to be transparent with each other so that we can recognize when somebody is dealing with mental health. But it's hard to help somebody if you don't know where they are. You know what I mean? You don't know what that person is. A lot of times when somebody have a death in the family, they say, I can imagine how you feel. If you can't imagine how it feels, don't try to. If you don't know what it's like to, to go through certain things as a man. You know what I mean? And in today's society, it's getting harder and harder to be a man, because you blink the wrong way and you get shot. You know what I'm saying? It used to be a warning shot was one. Now a warning shot is an empty clip. He moved. He was still moving because his nerves were still kicking. So, that you consider that still. So you have to really be, I used to get, some kind of anxiety when I would see a police behind me. Because I'm like, even if he ain't looking for me, it's just like, it just feels bad,
It's just knowing that possibility, especially being a man now in this day. It's just knowing. It's knowing the possibilities and just seeing things that are happening. So, repeatedly.
Man, it's crazy, man. Man. I remember when I used to be a deputy sheriff. Had a license, place, and everything, law enforcement tags. I would be like pushing my luck. I'm gonna see how much these people respect law enforcement tag. So I'll hit the gas on them. See what they do. See if someone will pull up behind me, get ready to cut the lights on, and then they read my tag and they turn around. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? That was that little protection. got the license plate tag, they got a code, a police code that if you see a license plate, law enforcement, then you know, you kind of keep it pushing.
Okay.
But when I didn't have that dog tag, try the same thing. I didn't do little stupid stuff to push my luck, man. But during the time of the Black Lives Matter movement, and they were there shooting folks with shooting somebody with their kid in the back seat and all that kind of stuff.
You can't play like that.
Dude, when the police behind me, bro, I'm like, oh my God, please just give me a ticket, bro. I'm sorry I was speeding. I'll take the ticket. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I don't want to be shot because you intimidated by me because I'm too big and you got to call a backup and, you know, because as a police officer, you know, you would be trained to excessive force and all that, and use of force and all that type of stuff. The definition for them to use their use of force is very vague when it says if you are in fear of your life.
Yeah. Well, different things might make you in fear of the next person. You know?
So if somebody is in fear of their life, if I outweigh you by 100 pounds, I can be the most non-threatening person. But if I got you by 100 pounds and you a small police officer and you pull me over and he come to your car, see how big you is, now you can call backup. Now your chances of getting out of that have been cut in half because you don't know what kind of day these people are having.
Right.
But it's my knowledge and wisdom of how to deal with police has got me where I am now because I've been telling people, you know, this is real talk. When I do my mentorship program for young men, teach them how to interact with police.
Right.
The last 3 times I've been stopped by police, I've been speeding 30, 40 miles over the speed limit. And because I'm able to talk to them the right way, I've gotten away without a ticket. The most recent time was New Year's Day. It was speeding 60 and 40. Police were so confused. I don't know what he told this police captain, but this something gonna pull me over, and I kept driving. I was on the way to pay a bill, so he followed me right into the parking lot of my bill I'm gonna pay. And when I got out, when I stopped my car, I put it in park, rolled the window down, walked to the car, gave him my license, and said, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Got out my car and ran to pay my bill, and he was sitting there like, okay.
Yeah, that could have gone south.
You know you're supposed to do that, but because I was on a mission when I came back, it was so funny. I came back after paying the bill, got in the car, put my seatbelt back on, and waited for him to bring my license. And that's when he discovered, you know, the lion's pride and what is all this and who you work for and all kinds of stuff. But then he gave me a ticket. But if I had been uneducated and hard-headed and on the defensive and all kinds of stuff, that could have went different, man. If I got out my car, he could have reached for his gun and said, hey, get back to the car, sir. Yeah. And it could have been a different story. Yeah. Being able to de-escalate situations, you know, sometimes that's a skill. It's a skill to learn that. So that's just something that I've always, you know, tried to, implement to people or how to deal with certain situations. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things you gotta know a person in order to deal with it. Any thoughts about that?
I mean, I agree 100%. You also gotta know your audience. You know what I mean? So, and that's one thing we gotta teach our young men. You touched on something real quick about how you deal with it. It's not always about being right.
Mm-hmm. You want to go home, you want to go to jail,
Live, fight another. You want
to go to jail, you want to go home. Come on.
So, and a lot of times, man, and I'm not saying by any means, I'm not saying be subservient or submissive in a situation where you got to compromise yourself. But I am saying I think in a lot of situations, like you said, de-escalation and knowing your audience is something that we got to focus on. We got to actually take responsibility amongst ourselves in our community.
Yeah, man. You really have to have that background, man. Because without that, man, we got a generation right now of kids they're lost, man. They don't know what the right answer is, and nobody's talking them the right answer. So you get into these situations, man, we got, our youth is like saying, F it, because we don't know, we've been getting beat down so long, we might as well just start fighting back, and we don't even care what the outcome is, because F it,
Yeah.
You got some jokers out there that's down for the cause.
Yeah.
They don't mind taking one for the team. So the right person come on the wrong day, man, it's like boom, it's like that, man. So shoot, man. So the next question, man, is something that we talked about it before. I did a live video about it. I said that I wasn't going to give it more attention, but enough time has passed, and we got some other parts of the story, so we can have another conversation about it and have some realness to come out of it. And it's the whole whole situation with Will Smith and Chris Rock at the Oscars, man. We're gonna talk about that, and I want this to be the last time we talk about it. But what are your thoughts on that scenario, brother?
It's a lot to unpack.
This is for married couples,
Everybody.
single black men, whatever men, period. If you was born a man or a woman, you need to hear this right here.
I will tell you, I think it's unfortunate how Will handled that situation. I think there's on a lot of levels. I think Will, if you look at just everything that happened and how it happened, Will may have been coerced into doing something that he didn't want to do. Indirectly, perhaps, but I look at the response and the reaction, and to be completely honest with you, Will's reaction, if it was a knee-jerk reaction that didn't look like it involved any real processing, I may have looked at it a little different. But it looked like Will initially with the joke. It looked like Will laughed.
Yeah.
And it looked like Will.
He's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's an actor. They're all actors. And it looks like Will got some immediate enjoyment, even if it was uncomfortable or whatever. And even the initial or his follow-up response of keep my wife's name, that would have been appropriate as a knee-jerk reaction. But it looks like what Will did was almost enjoy, like everyone else who laughed or even gasped or whatever. He took in the response, and then he got feedback from his wife, his significant other, and we had discussed a little bit earlier. There's that unwritten and unmentioned communication that you get from your significant other when you know it's time to move. It's time to stop. It's time to do whatever.
Y'all, you know what I'm saying? Something crossing the line. It's a look.
Hey, man.
And you're like, what's going on? Nothing. Like, hey, something happened.
The course of action has to change drastically. And it looks like that's what happened. My surprise or disapproval or however you want to call it is how he responded. And then the follow-up. Everybody, or a lot of people, I won't say everybody, but it seemed like a lot of people were, the defenders were saying, he was defending his wife, he was defending his mom, he was, which I understand. But again, the initial reaction doesn't say that. But then when you go to her response,
It
makes the whole thing kind of tough. Yeah.
It makes it tough. And this is what I didn't know in the beginning when I first saw the story, heard the story. The backstory is that Chris Rock had said something about her previous years, and Will had warned him about mentioning Jada or something, and from years ago.
Right.
So, and I know that when you at a show, even when you doing comedy stand-up, they in the green room behind stage like going over their jokes.
Yes, sir.
They don't read the they got a script they read on the teleprompter.
That's another thing. No one knows really who wrote that joke.
Exactly. But he had the option to approve the joke or disapprove it.
Exactly.
And so initially people say, oh, he was talking about her because she got this hair disease or whatever, but he didn't know that she had this.
If you unpack the joke, The joke was,
It wasn't a bad joke?
it wasn't even a bad joke. He said something about G.I. Jane 2.
G.I. Jane can't wait to
But
see it.
guess what? He could have been talking about her physique. He could have been talking about how she's still in shape. He could have been talking about anything.
Yeah, because even after the left, they made the mention about Ali too.
Right.
Because Will played Ali 1. So,
I mean, but not even that. Look at Demi Moore.
Yeah.
That's who played G.I. Jane 1.
Yeah.
I don't think, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, she's never had an issue with that reference. She's still Demi Moore.
exactly. And for him to say G.I. Jane 2, Jay the Bigot, you know how they have the black heroes now with the Wakanda and the Black Panther and everything.
That could put you on a whole.
Maybe if she was in negotiation with G.I. Jane 2, then that character now has been transformed to a black character now, and who more better to carry the title of a G.I. Jane type figure than somebody? So maybe he was complimenting her, but in the essence of being a comedian, then why are you joking? Why are you mad about somebody cracking a joke? That doesn't make it's not going to hurt your career. You know what I mean? So he was warned about it before.
Well, then on top of that, you gotta look at it like this as well. At the end of the day, if she says she don't need to be protected, why you ain't stop that man from going on that scene?
Why did you stop him from? Yes, because at this point, this is his livelihood.
It's almost
And
like
this is how he survived 2012. Huh?
it's almost like she just wants to embarrass you with every win.
Well, I mean, but you know, like I say, people had some mixed emotions, and after he got all the story out, you're like, well, now, he really defend his wife, but he really like, was he lashing out at Chris Rock, or was he lashing out about that invisible leash around his neck, or those invisible shackles that he had been in?
I think maybe more so those invisible shadows.
Because that's what
You might have had to punch your wife in the face to make you mad. You kick your dog because somebody made you mad.
And I'm going to say something else in that regard. You do what you know you can do. Because if I want to get you, if I really want to get you, I'm not going to do it in front of a million people. That's a backstage, and I know, and like you said, there's a backstory with that backstage. So, Chris, if we got a backstory and you do it on stage, I'm going to get you backstage. Because it's not going to be a chance where there's a TV or a police officer or anything like that to stop that. If that is my move, if violence is my action, I'm going to make it so where there's really no equal, there's no reaction. Mine is going to be the final one. And then I just don't understand going up on stage.
But even with that being said, that have you helped the culture or hurt the culture? They just already let black folks win Oscars.
Listen.
And he had said that moments before that incident, the OG Denzel, look at this, son, let me tell you something. Okay, all right, look at your eyes on the light. You're never going to come and attack you. So if he telling you this, and you consider him an OG, then when that moment happens, why react the way you do if you know that this dude, you have just set the community and the culture back a long time because okay, so for that night, for y'all who don't know how historical that night was, that was Will Smith's first Oscar nomination. Second of all, it was the first time in the history of Oscars that they let a black woman perform. Megan Thee Stallion performed for the first time, a rapper. Perform on that show. They don't let rap into the Oscars. It's like hip hop has their own world of awards. American Music Awards, BET Awards. But when you talk about a prestige like the Oscars, they don't let. So you know this is a night that we let all this stuff ride. Because I don't know if they're getting sensitive to the movement. Black Lives Matter, they got, Harriet Tubman and stuff on money now, and they're going to put Maya Angelou on the quarter, they got some stuff going on. They just approved and let Juneteenth be a national holiday. So we're doing some things to change and get better. But now we get set back because the ideal of some people is blacks or thugs that fight and that be ignorant, and we was talking about the poor black people.
Now we're talking about.
Now you got rich black people doing the same goddamn thing that the poor people or the poor hood people do. So now how can you really gauge on who you want to trust? They're not going to let him back to the officers. He might have just, like I say, committed career suicide by doing that. And everybody was talking about how insensitive Chris Rock was, but Chris Rock
Was shot.
did not retaliate. But it's you understand. But
Listen, I think he thought he considered.
If you look at the video, the setback was like,
his first move was he finished his sentence. He said, you know what? And then the second thing I found out is that Chris Rock had he had a show. He had a tour coming out after that. So was it a publicity stunt with his tour, or did he not punch because he know that if I do this, I'm going to affect my career?
Well,
And I
I actually considered that at first. I didn't know if that was publicity stunt or not. I'm gonna tell you, man, it takes a lot. It takes a big man to not respond. And I commend them.
turn another cheek.
Yeah, I commend them because I don't really know if I could have.
And see, and here's the thing, Chris Rock not by himself.
Right.
His brothers done been camped.
you hear
Tony Rock was in Raleigh. Tony Rock was in Raleigh 4 weeks ago. And he said, before we start the show, that y'all know, anybody on this stage, I'm putting his hands on me. And so now we got a lot of comedians are starting to show up with this. If anybody walk on stage, we got to be extra security now because they let this man walk on stage at a predominantly white event.
So was that a move to say back?
Slap somebody and not give no type of, they call the police.
That was what made it bad too. I can take it more as a man if you punch me. Push you, punch you.
Yeah.
Like that says a lot. Slapping somebody, that's right above spitting. Like right above, just above. It's not too many more disrespectful things you can do. The act of slapping another man, listen, Chris Rock is a commendable man. You know what I mean?
And it's hard. It's hard to know what the right thing is. You know, let somebody slap you and then you consider them to be weak. You fight back. You expect you look at the ignorant. But I know Chris Rock was protecting his money because he had a show lined up. And if he had done that, they probably start counting this show. Like right now, they counting all Will Smith movies and stuff right now. And they suspended him on Netflix, so he done hurt himself a whole lot. And so to do that, to defend your woman or to think that you're doing it for defending her, and for her to throw you under the bus, that's a schizophrenic, like, that's some real, like, I don't know, man, that's crazy to me.
It's definitely crazy.
There's some Gemini type stuff, man. And so the second part of the conversation is Will and Jada's relationship. It was said that in the beginning she told him that she didn't want to marry him. Openly told him that. And, you know, she was in love with Tupac and all this kind of stuff. And so all these years he been married to her, I think he told her that I'm going to make you love me. And he's been pushing and pushing and pushing. And this is the result of when you are forcing someone to love you versus someone loving you on their own. And I don't know, like I know they have an open relationship and all that kind of stuff. And people saying that, you know, if he was so hurt behind defending his wife, then why did he didn't touch all the last signal? He took the little young boy that laying in the wood to his wife.
Listen, I asked the same question, and what's crazy to me is this. So there's a lot of questions that can be asked, and that seems like the most common and the most decent question to ask, just because it's tangible and it's relative. And I've heard different responses. I've heard, well, you don't know how he handled that behind closed doors. Exactly. But if he chose to handle that so privately,
And why didn't he do that?
so public, why didn't you do the same thing with this?
Yeah.
And I do think Will, just because of Jada and because of the that whole thing, and like you said about the marriage, I think Will's been kind of taking shots. And I think what we saw, his behavior was an effect of all of those shots being taken and accumulation.
Which goes back to the original topic of the mental health in black men.
Right.
He's been publicly humiliated by the whole entanglement situation. Everybody watched us. He was looking all teary-eyed and looking confused when she was telling him on the public. And then she told him that this young boy is a better lover than he is. And they done it inside their bed. He's taking pictures of them inside the bed. So you got the ultimate slap in the face from the world, from your wife, and everybody. So here's the thing.
Put it on her show.
And here's the thing. When you're trying to, when a man has to compartmentalize what he decides to give energy to, because he wakes up in the morning, he's already behind the 8 ball. The whole world is against, you. So the mental health part of it is what he's been doing to deal with that kind of stuff.
Right.
And like you said, he might not even really been lashing out at Chris Rock because he don't like Chris Rock, but he knows that he said this is probably the last time I'm gonna let somebody disrespect me. So if I can't hit her, let me kick the dog. Let me kick the cat. Let me punch the wall and punch a hole in the wall, or let me just hit this man and take my frustration out on him, because I really want to direct it towards her, because she has been giving me hell all these years, and now I done had enough.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you really have to know how to deal with people who's going through that. And when this is what you need to understand. When you decide to be successful, when you decide to be relevant in the world, that comes with baggage. That comes with territory. People are going to be taking shots at you. If you're a comedian, you in the movies, people are going to take shots at you. So if you don't want to be made fun of, or have a spoof made, or have a meme made about you, then stay home.
But what's off limits? Like I don't understand. As a comedian, are there things that are off limits?
No.
Because I remember some of the funniest comedians. Richard Pryor, Bernie Mac, Red Fox.
Talking about everybody.
Everybody got it, but that was and I know
you can Bernie Mac was on tour, King of Comedy, talking about retarded people.
Listen, man, and
he didn't get no backlash.
Earthquake.
It was a different. I think it's another comedian. He talks about his brother. He does it a lot too. Yeah, but it's like it's. I think it's hard to say, because some people will say, well, it's not you that's affected and this, that, and other. But again, comedy is one of those avenues, and it's one of those arenas where that's kind of the safe place. You go, you do that, and then when you get off stage. Now, if you're outside, if you're in public, and I'm not on stage, or I'm not doing something for everyone's entertainment, then it's a little different. Your point, your view, your whatever, then we got something different. But as far as what he did, and back to your point, it wasn't even a bad or distasteful.
It was an open-ended joke. And you take it however you want to take it.
And I thought that if, it being the joke it was, if he thought that it was offensive, I'm pretty sure he would have checked who wrote that joke and said, hey, I'm not doing this to my brother or my sister because she got a head disease. I'm not gonna humiliate her like that.
I didn't even hear anything about that until and there's other footage though, and that's another weird thing about Will's response. There's other footage of other comedians making fun of her and far less tasteful jokes about the hair, but the response, it's not the same.
Well, you know who you can do what to.
That's what I was saying.
Because Chris Rock, he has a history of trauma. He said in his book, and his history of trauma was he grew up in an all-white neighborhood. That's why he made the show Everybody Hates Chris. He got beat up constantly.
Okay.
He's used to being bullied. So that was like, his facial expression kind of was like, oh, Now it's happening. Now being public is really.
Now I'm being attacked by one of my own.
One of my own people. So
It's
that's
different
what
when you being attacked by another race, but when your own people attack you, you're like, well, where can I get? Where can I get? You know, where can I be safe?
Yeah.
And tell some clean jokes.
I guarantee you, if Bernie Mac was still alive and he made that same joke, Will would not walk on the stage and do that.
No, I don't think there's too many other.
It's not too many other
comedians.
comedians. Harry Spears, he can't do that to Harry Spears. You can't do that to certain comedians because they don't stand on that.
Yeah, and then so when you're dealing with the Will and Jada relationship, I posted a video where I saw a video where a guy was explaining that that's a narcissistic behavior, that a woman publicly humiliates you and humiliates you and demasculize you to the point where, and this is something that, this is what a rub meets the road when you're really talking about mental health and things like that. She has demasculized him in a way where she has publicly humiliated him with his entanglement situation, with the pictures and all that kind of stuff. He got to live with that all himself. But then when she's got her whole family like disrespecting this man on a level where his own son don't want to be a man, wants to get his genitalia chopped off and be identified as a unisex because she has devalued him, and so now he has no interest in being a man like his father. He wants to be a unisex person. That's disrespectful. Anytime you got your kids not want to be like their father, they want to be, and then another slap in the face. So this is all behind closed doors. The whole I want to get my fingers chopped off, all that kind of stuff, and then his youngest daughter, Willow. I whip my hair back and forth. You know, she wrote a letter to a dead man named Tupac that said, "I wish he was alive so that my mom and I can be happy."
What?
As a man, we don't want our kids calling nobody else daddy, for one. That's disrespectful. For two, a dead man that you weren't even alive when this man was in the world. And for you to write a so-called letter to this man, this is all coming from your mama.
And then on top of all of that, right?
You know what I mean?
Do you really think the man that Tupac was, if he was alive today,
He wouldn't want no Jada.
he wasn't going to know Jada?
He wouldn't want Jada to pick his man.
No,
They was friends.
they never even had sex.
Yeah, they were friends.
So what are you talking about? You so in love with this guy?
So it's really disrespectful, but this is a narcissistic quality or trait that she has him committing career suicide just to please her or to defend her, and then turns around and says that I ain't tell him to do that. He did that on his own. I don't even like to defend me. But if he don't defend you, then he got to go home and deal with the wrath of not defending. Or you gonna let a man talk about me in front of all them folks and them black women? You gonna let a man talk about me in front of all these folks? My God, dog, it's a joke, girl. I'll laugh. You laugh. Why you laugh? Well, it wasn't funny because I got this head disease and you know how it is, and I've been going through treatment and all. Well, God, dog, if you want to, I don't know what next time. Just stay home.
But she had made a video right before that or after that said she didn't care about any of that. So the whole thing's weird to me. And again, as far as their history, the family, all of that, the whole thing to me is it's odd at best.
It is odd. It's very strange. That's a very strange family. I've said it for a minute that I believe that, Will is, I could be wrong, but I'm a conspiracy theorist, Marines have a tendency to be conspiracy theorists. I believe that he's part of the Illuminati and that he had to sacrifice his kids to get into the position that he's in now, because if you really look at his old career before he married Jada, you know what I'm saying? He played in the gay movie. He played in a gay role before. That's like
that's first movie.
That's in Hollywood. The music industry and the movie industry is controlled by pretty much, you got 2 or 3 families that control all of that. Like back in the 90s, they said all the gangster rap was coming from one company was producing all this music because they had stock and they had investments in the prison system.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember like before when there was the NWA, niggas with attitudes, F the police, they were arresting people on stage for saying that song, right? And that whole movement. Then all of a sudden you started hearing we all in the same gang. You start hearing about these positive, united rappers. All of those rappers from that era that was trying to start, people started switching their message. Queen Latifah started rapping about quality, unity, and all that. They don't like that. They want you to keep talking about the dumb stuff because they have to fill those prisons, right? In the movie industry, when you get to a certain level of success, you have to be willing to do certain things for your sexually in order for your career to go somewhere. Will Smith had to sacrifice his son. He had to sacrifice his daughter. They were getting ready to make Willow a princess in the Illuminati. If you think about when Willow was actually doing her thing, that was around the time where she started mimicking what Rihanna used to look like. They were trying to compare Rihanna to Willow, and you know they was trying to make her into a younger version of Rihanna. So we'll have to include his family and all that, and all this open relationship stuff. That's kind of like a move that they do, you know, in that type of environment. So I believe that that's the price of his fame. When you sell out, you know, you don't have a public life anymore. Everything you do now is, you know, you have a private life. Everything is public now. So if something happens in your bedroom, everybody got, why is that supposed to be some kind of breaking news? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's my thing. I don't know enough, man. If it's not, and I like it. If it's not sports, I like it this way. I don't know too much about it. And some of the stuff you were talking about, you know, Willow and everything. It's just like, why? You know what I'm saying? Why is that being put out so where everybody else?
There's been a certain agenda as well.
Yeah, you know, she had her hair, you know, shade on one side, and the other side had the hair over one eye, and the one eye is the Illuminati all-seeing eye with the whole diamond in the middle. All that stuff is all linked together, and that's what she started wearing black lipstick and black clothes, and she was like it was like all dark stuff during that era, and she had to do all that, and they had they do this stuff they call backmasking. Where they play your song backwards, and there's a message inside the song. You play it backwards. That's how in the old days they do this. How they was like putting these hidden messages out, and it's psychologically subconscious. Your mind is saying something, so they played one of her songs backwards, and they had a demonic message inside the song.
For real?
Yeah.
Also, you have what is called music parasites. So what musical parasites is pretty much the same thing. You have like those messages and stuff like that, they're entities. So they kind of jump into your mind and then pretty much just take over and control your thought process in a different way where you don't even know that this is what this is turning into.
It's a subconscious trick that you like. So if you watch the movie Focus, which is one of Will Smith's best movies, Focus, it's a scene in the movie where he's at this football game. And he's betting with this Asian guy on things, and this Asian guy is very rich, and you know Will is losing these bets.
Yeah. He
got a gambling problem, so he's like, I bet you $100,000 that this kicker missed the field goal, and the kicker makes it $100,000 gone. So he keep making these little bets with this Asian guy, getting them all excited, double or nothing. They were like up to like $1 million bet, and so he say, I got one last bet for you, and it'll take everything. So he was like, what's the bet? He say, look on the field and pick anybody on the field. Remember that jersey number, and I'm gonna guess who you just picked. And he said, smack it out of here. He's like, no, I'm serious. He's like, you stupid. I do this with my eyes closed. So he went took some binoculars and looked at the field. And he said, matter of fact, I'll double the stakes. I'm gonna let this woman here pick your number instead of me. Pick the number. And so he picked the number, and he let her look at the field and say, now find the guy that he just picked.
Yeah.
And she looked 3 or 4 times and said, how am I supposed to pick
Right.
a player that he just picked? And then she saw something familiar. And she named the number 55, the guy 55, and she said, this can't be real. 55, right? He said, how did you get that? So we won it back. So she was like, how in the world did you do that? He said, we've been telling him to pick number 55 all day subconsciously. They've been playing a song that's something with a bunch of woos in it. Woo in Japanese mean 55. They put him on room, I think, level 55, or his room number was 55. So he was on they made sure that everything he's seen that whole day before the game started, they made sure that he saw 55 5,000 times. Okay. And so when he went to look on the field, he's been hearing 55 and seeing 55 all day, he was able to pick it out. So subconsciously, when you put messages in the song and you record them, the message backwards, your subconscious is listening to the song, but it's other things going on inside that music. That's how you get a certain way. If you don't believe me, go listen to some headbanging music. All of a sudden, you're going to feel like, it's because the energy that comes behind. You so listen to some dog on NWA, all of a sudden, you're going to start doing like this. All because you got a feeling to do like this. So, you know, when you think about music industry, Quincy Jones is another one, is a high ranking in the Illuminati, and if your career wants to go in, you got to let Papa Smurf come in and bend you over. If you ain't finna go nowhere. If you do, all of a sudden you got these people come out of woodwork, overnight success, and you don't know where they came from, but because they applied to, they adhere to the rules, they're able to be successful in their career. Right now, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. We'll be back after these messages.
What's going on? This your boy Anthony Cobb, part of the Black Kingsman. If you would like to be part of the riding club that we got now, just reach out to me on email, antlybe, antlybe78@gmail.com, or Rome78 in a day. That's my IG handle. Reach out to me. We can get together. We're looking for new riders, experienced riders, especially if you got those bullies. So it's a lot of us with those boulevards, but we welcome all riders. Also, if you're enjoying the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button. If you're a business owner and you're looking to get some advertisement on the show, want to participate on the show, feel free to get in contact with us. InsideTheDen43@gmail.com.
And we're back. So far we've been having a good conversation, man. This is by far one of the better conversations we had in a while. But moving right along, we got a couple more topics to talk about. So the next thing, expanding the interest of the community. What are some of the interests that you want to be expanded? What's some of your expanding interests?
A little bit like we had talked about as far as I would like to get together and mentor kids, and sports is one of my big deals. Just because playing sports throughout growing up, like me and you had talked about, sports seems to be that platform where race, your background, how much money your parents make, your friends, none of that matters because it all changes with sports, and sports is a brother and or sisterhood. So I would like to incorporate a lot of sports in our community that we generally don't get a chance to participate in. I.e., like I said, how Tiger Woods did golf, he kind of brought interest to that into our community. I would like to see soccer, lacrosse, a couple more sports that would give exposure, different exposures and different experiences to our community.
Okay, so you already have a plan to set something up, or what's your plan on expanding the interest? I know you said lacrosse and soccer, but do you have a plan to get that going?
Well, initially my plan was to form a mentorship program, but knowing that the Lions Den does mentoring, I would love to partner.
Yeah. The program I have is the Lions Main.
Lions Main.
And if everything I do is intentional, trust me. Inside the Den, we're talking about being in a place where, where men can talk and be able to, speak the same language. And when you look at a lion, what's the first thing you notice about a lion? Or what's the distinction between the female lion and the male lion? What's the distinction? The mane. I do beard products for a reason because this is my mane. I don't have any hair on my head, so only I can express who I am is with my beard, and that's like a distinction of just like that. So the lion's mane is for the younger men because when you have a young lion, he don't grow his mane till he get to a certain age.
Exactly.
So, but he has to look to the older lions to help train him how to be a lion. So the Lion's Mane is a program that I started for young men between the ages of 8 years old to 25 years old. And what we do is we kind of help fill in the gaps to where absent, mentor might be present, whether it is an absent father or whether it is just something that, they might have a father, but the father might not be teaching certain things. So I focus on things like helping them learn how to change a tire. I mean, I got all girls, and I don't know how many times I had to, order my daughter and show my daughter how to change a tire, so she knows how to change a tire, even done it in the rain. So no matter what conditions you're in, you either know, if you don't have a man, you either know how to do this because you might not have a man around. But for a young man to be riding around the car and don't know how to change a tire, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it might not necessarily be his dad's fault. His dad might be, gone. So when I sit down with the parents, I have a contract drawn up. I want the fathers to be on board as well because I believe that programs in a young kid's life, if it's not accepted and promoted by the father, have a high percentage of failures. Because if a man feels intimidated that he's trying to do his job, he's not going to let that kid participate, or if they don't understand what the goal is, they might not participate. So work with them, teach them how to talk to law enforcement, how to change tire, how to tie a tie when they go to a restaurant, why is it always polite to let the woman order first, and how to pay a bill, how to tip, things like that. Most importantly, we want to teach them how to be successful. So teach them how to fill out applications, how to do interviews, how to dress when they go to interview, how to speak so they won't look as being ignorant when they go talk. Yeah, man, looking for a job, you know what I'm saying? Whatever y'all got for me, man, I can do it. And you're like, that ain't how you talking to dog about on job. So if you got some interest in doing that, instead of starting from scratch and trying to do all that, then I don't mind you joining teams and just joining what we got going on, man, because I believe that if you trying to start these ball clubs, that'll be another alternative to helping them in the program. They graduate to a certain level. They might be phase one. I was giving out medallions, like lion head, like, the ring that you got, the ring, I started giving my my mentees one of those rings, I guess, maybe the first phase. Then phase two, they get a chain, a charm. Then phase three, they might get something else, but then the final phase be going to get them blazers. And the blazer represents, it's almost like you go to the Hall of Fame, you get a Hall of Fame jacket. If you go to the Masters, you get one of those jackets. So this is going to be a distinguished thing that says that because you complete this program, now you have a ring, you got a chain, you have whatever, maybe a patch, but then when you get a patch, and then the final one is the blazer, and you get the patch sewed onto the blazer after you complete the program of the Lion's Mane. So it's returning cubs into lions inside the den. So join the brotherhood if you really want to win. That's what we doing inside the den and on this mentorship program. So you definitely more than welcome to join the team and help with that because we all need help, man. You know what I mean? I can't do everything myself. I don't know. I'm not an expert at everything. I let people, exercise their passions as well, and we kind of help each other. So you got a passion, man. We can definitely do that, man.
Let's do it.
Anything else? Talking about the expanding the interest. Talking about the ball clubs and all that. What do you want to be your legacy? What you want to leave behind? For your legacy.
I want my legacy to be a legacy of exploration and a legacy of continued knowledge, a legacy of seeking knowledge, and a legacy of constantly growing and constantly giving everything that I grew and benefited from, constantly giving that back. So making everything that comes after me better. That's what I want my legacy.
That's awesome, man. That having in mind, and I understand you got a couple of degrees and everything like that, and you know, being a Marine and having degrees and everything, you were very accomplished young man. How many kids do you have again?
4 kids.
4 kids.
Little girl, and 3 boys. Well, my youngest is 5, so he's a little boy. But then got my little girl who's 13. I have an 18-year-old who is in the military. He's Marine Corps.
Okay, where's he stationed at?
Right now he's stationed in Lejeune. But he's in, they're on a exercise now, and
You don't have no concerns about Lejeune, man?
I do. I have concerns about the Marine Corps. You know, he followed right after that. Paris Island, same company, same
Really?
battalion, everything. So
Same MOS or?
not saying MOS, but I'm happy that he's doing what he wanted to do.
But you have concerns about the Marine?
I have some concerns about the Marine Corps. I'm Marine, so as you know,
Yeah.
I'm what he is. So I have a few concerns, but he's a smart kid and he's a good kid. So I think the village just helped.
Yeah, and you said you got a 20.
And I got a 23-year-old. He's about to turn 23, and that's my business minded kid. So he's up north. He's in D.C., Maryland, PG area. He's doing the design thing, and T-shirts and cars and things like that. So he's definitely he's my business mind. So I'm proud of all of my kids, man. They're all, like I said, the 5-year-old. I didn't talk about him that much, but of course he rules the roost. So you've met him before.
Yeah, I met the little guy.
Yeah.
So overall message, man, to your kids, if you had to leave them one solid message to your kids, all 5 of them, 4 or 5? 4.
All 5. I have a bonus for her. So
Okay, that's why I said 5.
Yeah.
What would be your message to your kids if you had to talk to them? And this is your camera right here.
Number 1, keep pushing. Regardless of what happens, keep pushing. And pushing, define yourself. Define what you want to do, define where you want to be, and define how you get there. Make your own rules and stick to them. Generally speaking, never give up and push. You'll get what you want.
And some people have different acronyms of what push means. If you're a believer, some people say that push means pray until something happens. So we just have to, be very. We have to. Our kids have to know what their parents stand for. Like, what's the overall message? Because, there's a time where you can say, if I've been knowing this dude here for 10 years and he has some different characteristics about himself.
Right.
If they say that he done something, I'm like, that ain't his character. I know he ain't do that.
Exactly.
But if it's something that sounds like, sound like something he would do because I know him a little bit.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to kids, they need to know what their parents would do in a certain. They need to know how you feel about certain things.
Right.
They need to know what your overall message is, because you have to really be intentional when you're leaving kids instructions. Because I just had an uncle that passed, man, a couple days ago, man, and talked to my mom that night. It's her brother, and the kids. He has 3 boys, and they're actually fighting the church that he pastored right now, because before he passed, he gave his boys specific instructions on what he wanted done, and his boys are making sure his wishes are being followed, and the church is trying to fight against his wishes. So, but if he had never had a conversation with them boys, then the church would come in and do whatever they want, and it's like, you're not honoring my father's legacy. My father wanted this and this and this to happen, So, you know, you just have to really be intentional of knowing what your kids think about you and how they feel. So, next topic, man, fellowship, friendship, networking, man. You talked about your riding club.
Yes, sir.
First of all, Black Kingsmen Riding Club. Now, I asked you earlier because, you know, I have a couple of little raggedy motorcycles, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a part of a bike club, but you explained to me earlier what's the difference between a riding club and a bike club.
Yeah, and we're not a motorcycle club, man. We're not about the whole initiation. We're not about the whole, you know, showing colors. Obviously, we have a logo that represents us as a unit, but we're not about territory, anything like that. Anybody that wants to ride is more than welcome to ride. We're not about any type of exclusion per se. Now, a lot of us, we have boulevards, Suzuki Boulevard. So we started, you know, Bully Boys, you know, a lot of guys, like-minded individuals like me and yourself, just a safe place to get together and kind of talk, fellowship with other guys, you know what I'm saying, that had bikes similar to us. But it grew, and now we're pretty strong as far as a variety of bikes. It's not just boulevards anymore. So everybody's welcome. And
so, riding club, motorcycle club.
Not a motorcycle club in the sense of what we're about is more so the fellowship of getting together and just riding. We're guys that like to ride, and that's it. We don't
Redefining the meaning of a motorcycle club.
You know what I mean? In lieu of a lot of you know, obviously some of the shows you see that show you what motorcycle clubs are into. We're not really in any of the I guess you would say.
Yeah, I had a buddy, man, was telling me he was riding with some guys, man. They wanted to ride. Everybody in the group he was riding with wanted to ride 200 miles an hour and do all this crazy stuff. And he talked about some kind of territory and what set you claim. Dude, I ain't trying to be part of no gang. It just sounds like a gang. So since I've been riding, I've been solo because I'm not interested in being nobody's gang.
Exactly.
I just choose the blue and the red pill when I was in high school.
Right.
Or the blue and red rag instead of pill. Yeah. I ain't trying to join no grown man motorcycle gang.
Nah.
So that's why I have been like solo. But if it's something like what you're saying, a brotherhood, then I'm more than happy to join a brotherhood because I like being able to connect with people because of everything that I do professional.
Exactly.
You know, I have an outlet to everything. I want to be able to bring some diversity to what I do.
Exactly.
But man, that was just something that, you know, I'm like, man, I don't understand why, you know, you watch movies like you guys just go around bullying people. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it under that.
Yeah, we're too old for that, man.
Yeah, man, way too old to try to bully somebody and be a gang, man. Friendships, man. Who are some of your closest friends, man? And do you still have friends who you deal with from the core and your life as a child? You got any childhood friends, or who you dealing with, man?
I got a few of both. You know, my best friend, we met indirectly in probably late high school, but we ended up going to the same college. My first college, Bowie State University. We ended up going to the same college and actually ended up being roommates. And then when we got out of college, we ended up getting an apartment and we were roommates, you know, doing the whole bachelor pad thing. So I still talk to him almost daily. That's my homeboy, Chico. Back home, gotta give him a shout out, you know what I'm saying? He probably don't rag whenever he sees this, but nah, man, that's my homeboy. I mean, and he's, you know, that's brother status, you know, so. Like I said, my family, our families know each other.
Man, I got 3 sets of friends. I got friends, you know, from like high school era when I played football. I got some guys I was bonding with them, and then after football seasons, be like, boom, those friends are. But I have a couple people I still deal with. Then when I went to the Marine Corps, I developed some Marine Corps friends. And then once I got to the Marine Corps, like those, I still have a couple people I still deal with from the Marine Corps. Then I have friends I developed outside the Marine Corps. So it's like you got 3 different set of friends. But when I turned 40, man, I was like low key depressed. Like, man, I wanted to like have a get together with all of my closest friends, and it was almost like episode on Martin when like nobody came to the party. I'm like, dude, I ain't got no friends. But you know what? The older I get, man, like when I was in my 30s, having a whole lot of friends really wasn't that important to me because you know the more people you have in your life, the more drama, the more stuff go on, the more I just wasn't really interested. But as I get older as a man, I realize that it's important for us to have friends.
It's definitely important.
Because we have to have accountability partners. When we get into a place of being a man where you don't have nobody to talk to about our problems, man, it's like, who do you talk to? I got some guys I can talk to say, hey man, I don't care how bad of a day I'm having.
Right.
If you need me, holler at me, bro. Because I'd rather be the one you talk to that can rationalize things than to not be available. You go home and shoot your whole house up.
Exactly. And that's what
you're
I'm
dealing with some doggone stress or some mental health and nobody don't understand you but another doggone man.
That's what I was telling you. And it's important that we have those, like you said, the bros, the brothership, the brotherhood, because there's things we can't get from a woman.
Yeah, I mean, your wife's supposed to be your best friend.
Right on.
But you can't tell your significant other everything because she's not equipped to handle some of the things. God gives the man that burden for a reason.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? When you look at how God created us, He didn't create Adam and from one pile of dirt and then create Eve from a different pile of dirt. See, that's two individuals. You got your pile of dirt, I got my pile of dirt. But what He did was He created the man from one pile of dirt and He pulled something out of the man to create the woman. So she comes directly from Him. She's not created on her own. She comes directly from Him. So because of that reason, if she was created equal as Him, two different piles of dirt, I believe it would have been like, yeah, I can tell her everything because she can handle what I got. But He pulled the woman out of the man, meaning that she don't exist on her own. She exists from His existence, meaning that the man embodies everything. And this is something that you might not really realize when I say this, but the man is equipped the way God designed with everything on the inside of him. If you think about testicles, if testicles are 6 inches or 3 inches higher, they become what? Ovaries. That's what God created the man. He created the full reproductive system inside the man, and then He pulled a woman out of the man. So everything the man had inside him, the woman, if you look at a chest, the pecs, your pectoral muscles are titties. So everything is already inside the man. So because we were built that way, we have the responsibility to carry the bulk of the load. So you have to have somebody you can talk to that says, me too.
Yeah.
I'm one of them too.
Yeah.
I go through this too. And you don't know how much pressure can be lifted off of you just by talking to somebody else who's going through the same thing you're going through, brother.
Exactly.
So having friends now is more important to me now because I know that I'm getting into some areas of my life that I ain't never been before.
Right.
And brothers like you know, how old are you?
43.
So you got me by probably a year and a half, 2 years. So you got 2 years more experience than I got. So I'm looking for guys who can tell me, okay, at 43, how those things change. Yeah. And then you probably look for somebody who's 48 to say, so everybody had to have a friend or some type of guidance. It's almost like when you at the airport and they doing this to the plane, outside directing the plane, you get to this spot, then they doing like this, they like this. So you got to have somebody to navigate you through the ports. So you want to, because we can't raise ourselves, man. It takes a village to raise a child, but we all end up being family after a while because we are all part of the same thing.
Exactly.
we all going through the same thing in life, man, dealing with this life, you know, in this skin that we in, bro. We didn't choose this, bro. We gotta go through this. So if I can help straighten somebody out, man, that's why I believe it's so important we do this program with these young guys, man, because they need it. I mean, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Medgar Evers and Jesse Jackson and you know, Colin Powell and, you know, Al Sharpton, them guys, their time has passed. It's our time to take over the reins of that. Networking, man. Who you networking with right now? Who you trying to build business with? Who you trying to get influence with right now with the networking?
Well, you.
Well, hey, you got that's a good answer.
So I feel like that's the best answer right now. You know what I mean? As far as, you know, just getting back into the community and giving back what I can. Like you said earlier, you touched on it a couple of times. I think it's imperative to understand when you have an avenue, if you have a channel that's you know more than I do, you have more access than I have, and you have more guidance. You can tell me, don't do this, I've been here, I've done this, I have this. Don't do that, or you can tell me, do this, do that, you're on the right track. So.
Yeah, and then we got this, you know, I was telling you earlier, you got a degree in journalism.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, if I tell you I got a passion to do a magazine, Inside the Den magazine coming soon, I need an editor and a journalist to write those stories. I'm gonna utilize my resources. If I got somebody who got a journalist degree, then why am I going to find somebody else over here to do it? And I got somebody who can write a story, right? So we working together, man. Like whatever passion I got, you got, man. My guy right here wants to be a movie director, wants to be a video director / rapper / photographer.
I'm gonna just correct the real quick. I am.
You are what you say you are. You gotta speak it into existence.
Yes, sir.
So we working on a video for the theme song, Welcome to the Bride. He's gonna do a version of the video. We're going on this trip to Miami, Florida this summer, and it's going to be a road trip, and we're going to bring him along with another guy. We're going to be shooting footage from the trip, and we're going to use the footage to be part of, you know, some season 3 theme song and opening intro video. He's doing some things, getting better with his craft, so we all part of this thing together, man. Like I say, he's part of a group, you know, called Critter Tunes, which is similar to the Avengers and the Wu-Tang Clan. So
yeah.
I want to be able to help, you know, people get their access, and I'm working on right now as we speak, launching my own television network called Lions Pride View, and I'm going to be looking for content to be added to the network. And so anything you do, like with your bike club, the footage, he has a show called Backyard Shenanigans. I'm gonna link y'all together so he can film some of what you got going on with the guys, and hopefully I can be part of the team eventually. Give me a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? I want me a t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? This will be my first time joining a riding club of any type. Okay. And I haven't even never really rode with anybody before. Like in a group of people. I don't have no kind of road etiquette, you know what I'm saying? No kind of ride etiquette. I didn't get it go, you know what I'm saying?
We'll get you. I mean, it's cool though too, man, because like riding, where we ride, we all have spaces, you know, we all have different positions. I'm the rear, generally speaking, but we all have different assignments and we all do different things, and everyone contributes, and we like to, the bigger we get, the more we grow, keep that up, the whole networking thing. So just because we got 4 now, and we got 4 different assignments, if we get 5, we'll have 5 different assignments, and so on and so forth. So,
Council, I love networking because this is my goal, man, is to be connected with everybody and have resources with everybody.
Right.
I started a group on Facebook called Black Men's Empowerment. Because that people I bring that group was to bring all entrepreneurs to one group. So let's say I want somebody who's painter, somebody who is a painter, and it should be a painter, and somebody who does bikes, somebody who does bike work. It should be a bike group. It should be a photography group. It should be a photography. Somebody, so somebody trying to bring everybody together. Trying to bring everybody together. Kind of what actually inspired this road trip. Because most people gonna be on the road. It's gonna be all like yourself, me, like yourself, me, this guy, I got people, my best friend. All these guys are actually this is what black, this is what black excellence be together. They want to see us in our natural habitat. They're gonna see how we deal with people, how deal with us, how people deal with us. I want to show that raw. I want to show that raw. I want to show that raw experience, black excellence, and that's what black excellence. That's what inspired the actual trip. The trip, but my goal is, if you connect to me, I want you to know, everything that I know, and benefit I do. Everything that I want everybody to get the credit. I want everybody to get the credit. I want everybody to have life insurance. I want everybody to be able to have their taxes done. I want everybody to be able to business owners, LLC, I want to help people with that. I want to help people with that kind of stuff. And if you already know people, then it's a network. You shouldn't know me. And not benefit from something that I do. You know, that's just what I believe. So trying to get involved with other people other than myself. You know, and just have that brotherhood that says that, hey y'all, somebody in a group like that. Somebody in a group that has an Airbnb in Miami. Somebody speak up so we can get this all about networking. It's all about networking. You good? Yeah. Okay. So the next topic is going to be MMM, triple M's. Marine Corps, marriage, and motorcycles. 3 M's, man. We're going to talk about that. And, you know, what do you feel about, like, as a whole career in the Marine Corps, what are some of your favorite moments about being in the Corps?
I would definitely have to say I played ball. I played ball in the Marine Corps. So playing football, kind of some of those camaraderies and brotherhoods we talk about. As you know, the Marine Corps is already small, and then when you get in certain parts of the Marine Corps, and then when you do things like play ball. So I played ball, and that was a good brothership. Just traveling back and forth with the team, you know, some of the little friendships and escapades we used to have. You know, Marines, we always find a way to get into something, or try to get out of things. So.
You know, I was recruited to the Marine Corps with that same thing.
Really?
People play football in the Marine Corps. I got out of high school, man. I'm sick of school. I ain't in no college right now.
Yeah.
All these tests. And so when I left high school, I wanted to make the decision to say, okay, I want to play football, but I need a break from school.
Yeah.
So my recruiter told me, oh, you know, you can play football in the Marine Corps. He used the example of Mike Anderson.
Yeah. Right.
See, he got told the same story, right?
Yeah.
So Mike Anderson was number 38 for the Broncos. He was Terrell Davis' backup. He actually went in the Marine Corps and he went to play for the Army Navy team in the Marine Corps, and he was drafted from the Army Navy team into the NFL. And when I was coming in, that's the story he used to recruit me.
Oh yeah.
When I got to the Marine Corps, I'm like, well, I can keep my body in shape long enough to if I decide to go back to school, at least I'll be physical, able to do it, you know what I mean? And so, went to the Marine Corps, man, and every recruiter told me some lies, man. I ain't get a chance to play no football. They had me in Cuba.
Yeah.
You know, Paris side. Well, I played football, man.
Now, I played football. Now, I did have benefit. I played football on both coasts. I played football on the East and West Coast. So, it was a good time. I had a ball, man. But I had a lot of buddies in each branch that did something. So, I had a really good buddy that was, he was a boxer in the Air Force. And I had another buddy that played baseball and boxed for the Army. So, just it was a good outlet amongst what we did in everyday life.
Yeah, I mean, I had some good times in the Marine Corps, man. I wouldn't trade those times for nothing in the world, man. Even the bad times was like character building.
That's what I remember. The times that were then you were like, and that's what I think about my son. Some of the things he's telling me now, I'm like, Dad, we in Yuma, Arizona. I can't see anything for miles. It's like in 10, 20 years, man. those little conversations you have with your buddy right now while y'all are on guard, in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere, you'll remember all of those things.
Yes, yeah, character building. Second M is marriage. As it pertains to new age, new school versus old school, what's your opinion on what's a woman's role in a marriage, and how has it changed over the last 50 years in America?
I think a woman's role in a marriage is
Y'all pay attention.
yeah.
You think you're the secret? Come on.
It's the support, support of the husband. And I think that is a far more important role than the adjustment of not even the last 50, maybe the last 25 years has allowed for. I think a woman's role in support is it's an embodiment of strength, and I think the word submission in association with a woman because of how things are going today as far as marriage, I think that word has a negative connotation.
Yes.
And I think it has a negative connotation from both sides. I think a lot of the on both sides, some of the people who want the women to quote unquote submit or men don't have a good understanding of what submission actually means. And I don't think a lot of women have a good understanding of what submission.
I would agree.
Because I don't think submission in regard to what it's meant as far as marriage, I don't think it is a thing of inferiority. You know what I mean? I think it's something that it's a role and it's necessary. It's a necessary role. And
Yeah, I agree with you, man, because I believe that, if you're taught a certain way from a child, you're going to always operate that way.
Right.
And when you talk about the word submission, people think that you mean let somebody like
run
over you or be a doormat, and that's not what it is. Submission just means that you acknowledging that you have a covering, and you have somebody that's responsible for you, and that you are accepting that role of submitting to the authority. Just like if you work for a boss and you didn't like him, or he told you to be like, dude, you still have to say, well, that's my boss. I gotta do what my boss say. Women think that submission means that you gotta let a man cheat on you, beat on you, take your money, and still be good with it at the end of the day, and sex him down. That ain't what that means. That just means that, if you look at, just two people together, and in the old days, women used to, if you was a housewife, your job was to keep the house clean, make sure that the food was ready for your husband when you come home from work, make sure the kids get their homework done. Your job was make sure the house runs flawlessly. The moment you want to go get a job, that's fine, but you getting a job working, that still does not negate your household duties and how you operate your house as a couple. But on the flip side of that, if the man's job is to protect and pay the bills and make sure that he's working for his family, then you have to understand that you have a job to do as well, and your job lacking could affect the submission part.
Exactly.
So a lot of men want women to submit to them, but you're not giving a woman anything to submit to.
Exactly.
If you running the streets all week, selling dope or running around, doing stuff you supposed to be doing, and you ask them what a submission, that she's like, what am I submitting to? We don't have a game plan. We don't have a goal. We don't have, how are we doing this? And if you can't give that woman that dream, if you don't have a dream for a family, if your family vision, then what is she submitting to?
Right.
So I don't think that a woman has to submit when there's a lack of leadership in the house. But this is the thing. Women have been independently so long, and they've had to endure being alone so long till when they do finally find somebody worthy of submission, they have a hard time with releasing the throne, letting the man have a job, because they're so focused on what if he leaves? What if it's gonna work? What if this? What if this? Just do your job, whether he's in line or not. And sometimes your obedience will make that joker change his mind and do the right thing because he knows what he got it, what's going on. So, but I think that it has changed a whole lot in the last 20 years because of the way society has demasculized the man. Society has demasculized black families and unity and have made it all, one-sided. So women are taking more of that independent role now. So one of the biggest reasons why you ride motorcycles today.
So a funny story, right? When I was little, like a boy, just I'm talking adolescent, 5 to maybe 11. Used to always want to fly. Motorcycle is now my wind therapy. That's the closest thing I've ever done to where I feel like I'm flying. So when I get on my motorcycle, I can have a bad day. I can have a bad conversation, a bad experience, a bad anything. And I can get on my motorcycle and that feeling of flying, that wind therapy, releases everything. Some people, everyone does something different. So riding a motorcycle, that's my vice. That's a way to just kind of, I like feeling like I'm still a part of, everything, the elements, but also being alone enough to myself where I can just.
I like the wind therapy as well. One of my things is a faith thing.
Yeah.
Because on that motorcycle, you are at your most vulnerable stage in transportation.
Yep.
You have no walls to protect you from any impact. The slightest change in the road can throw you off.
Yep.
And so when you're on that bike and you're going 60, 70, 80 miles an hour, when I'm on the bike, I'm getting the wind therapy because I feel like I'm, like you say, like you're flying.
Yeah.
But that's the point I'm asking, really, I'm holding on to God's hand. Like, I'm at God's mercy on that bike.
Yeah.
Like, whatever happens, I'm in your hands.
Yeah.
So it's almost like you trying to, conquer your fear of letting go.
Yeah.
And then you want God to lead and guide you. When you say Jesus take the wheel, that's my version of Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah.
Because when you riding, you have to be able to respond at a split decision, at a quick, because if a car does jar out in front of you, or if you at a light and the car runs a red light, and sometimes when the car trying to change lane, they don't see your bike, so you are at the mercy of God. So that's how I actually really tune in with God when I'm riding on that bike, man. I'm like, Lord, I'm in your hands, and have my ride. The enjoyment of this ride is going to be based on your mercy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I've had a motorcycle accident before.
I have too.
I've laid my bike down. I've actually been in a situation where I was flying like Superman because I was on a bike going 60 miles an hour and a truck was coming dead on, truck was in the opposite lane trying to get around a car, and it came in my lane to get around the car, and I didn't think the truck was going to make it back in time to miss me. So me being inexperienced, I ended up going off the road to avoid the truck, and when I came back, I caught the edge of the road, and it threw me. And it so happened that I had a Superman shirt on that day off on my bike, and the neighbors that saw it, or the people that saw it, described me, said I was flying in the air like Superman.
Yeah.
And when I hit the ground, I bounced about 3 times. Bike was going in the opposite direction. I'm talking about, it was so bad. And they called it road rash. Yeah. But it wasn't a rash. It was like my skin was down to the white meat. I'm like, God dog, and so I had really, it removed 80% of a tattoo on my arm, like gone because of this pain.
I believe it.
So and then the fear of not wanting to ride because I'm scared. Yeah. You hear all these stories about motorcycle accidents, and you like, man. So when I say it's a faith thing for me, Jesus take the wheel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Build a fence around me. build a bubble around me that nobody won't come in my circle while I'm riding, and I'm just take this thing. So you really got to be, you got to be really in tune when you riding, because if your motor skills ain't on point, you can mess some stuff up. So
quick.
Yeah, and it happens that fast. The thought of it, matter of fact, the day I had my accident, a thought came across my mind that this is pretty good. I'm a pretty decent rounder. Can't nothing stop me today. I wonder what would happen if this happened. And then as I was thinking about it, boom, I'm like, boy, if that ain't real, your mind got. And when people was doing the evaluation on the accident, they asked me, "Are you suicidal?" They asked me, "Do you have any mental health issues?" Because it's like one of those things where it's like your mentality can change in just that split second, and you can be on a whole nother ride. Went from riding a bike to riding the mobile medic ambulance because of that quick change. So, what's your favorite model of motorcycle? You said earlier you like the
Suzuki Boulevard.
Suzuki Boulevard.
Yeah. So this is my second bullet. I started off in Suzuki with a M50. I'm an M90 now. Most of the Black Kingsmen, they ride M109s. They handle a little different. They do a little different things.
But you got a Harley though, right? That's not a Harley?
I got a Buell and a Boulevard. So my Buell is my racing bike.
Oh.
And I don't too much. I don't do that anymore. I'm a little too old for that. But I used to race that. So I used to race the Buell. I still have the Buell. So if you see me around town, or if you don't see me around town, it's probably because I'm in the Buell. If you see a little black spot. But I behave on the bullet. So that's the cruiser.
So
that's my favorite model, the Suzuki Boulevard. It's a clean looking bike. It's a power cruiser, muscle cruiser. So it's got kind of the best of both worlds. It's got a sporty look, but it's got that classic cruiser. Big gas tank, sits low, make some noise.
Yeah, well, I have a Yamaha and a Harley. Yeah. And the Harley, I've always wanted one. Yeah. But I'm like, man, I don't want a Harley now, because you see people on the side of the road have to keep tightening the wrench. I ain't got no kind of mechanical skill, so I get them Harley. And if I don't know how to fix it, it's gonna be sitting in the yard. You know what I mean? So I finally got one. Got a newer model, so I ain't got to do all that wrench turning. And it's been a pretty good experience. I like riding it. Like I say, to get that wind therapy, man, and just test my faith. Now, I just enjoy some of the things, and it is therapy when you had a long day or you just need to unwind. So I suffer during the winter months because I'm not a real rider. I don't ride in the winter. Yeah. I know some guys be out there with full body suits on trying to ride. I ain't that person. Yeah. But
got the heated gloves.
But in the winter, in the summertime when everybody's riding, I want to be out there
Get out there
and get my get everything done. So my next thing is gonna be final thoughts. But before I get to my final thoughts, I want to take this time and I want to present to you a couple of little things I got for you here, brother, to commemorate our time here together on the show. Here is your very own Inside the Den tee. You can rock this. I hope it fit. This is, I think it's an extra large. What size you want?
X.
It's a large, but it looks pretty big. I don't know if you can wear it now, but
if not, look out.
If not, then I should have another one downstairs. Okay. But my man can get you one. He can make you one. And so, also talking about mental health and talking about therapy. Some people like aromatherapy to kind of calm your nerves. Myself personally, I like listening to the ocean sound when I'm trying to listen to ocean waves, or I might put on like a thunderstorm type thing to kind of calm me down. But a lot of people like aromatherapy. So what I did was when I was starting my getting ready to start my clothing line, I wanted to come up with a brand of fragrance, and so a lot of people know the story of how I became the brand ambassador for Alpha Male, which is the beard oil products that I wear and I sell. So I have the products for the men, the pomade, the beard oil. I got some conditioner, all kinds of stuff. So me and Jay partnered up a little while ago to do a Lion's Pride fragrance for the beard oil.
Gotcha.
And so I partnered with another individual to come up with my own candle fragrance. So I'm always networking. I got candle connections, I got beard connections. So this is her ideal of what the Lion's, or this is my idea what the Lion's Pride candle should smell like. And this is the version that I sell for $10. So burn it in your house, man, and help with your aromatherapy. And then if you don't burn the candles a whole lot, you might be an oil burner. This is the oil version of Lion's Pride as it relates to that smell, that apple smell. So those are some little trinkets, man, I have for you to come on the show, man, and I appreciate you coming, spending time with me today, brother.
Appreciate that.
I always get along with Marines. We had some Marines on the show a while back, and we're going to invite them on again, but I think that maybe the last episode of the season, I want to have a all-Marine panel.
Okay.
Have everybody on the show is all Marines, and we just going to talk about just Marines, stuff like that, is what we went through. So, here's the thing. I've been posting a lot of stuff on Facebook lately. And for my final thoughts, I want to pull one of these posts I put on Facebook just yesterday. And so I'm going to leave you all with 5 key nuggets to think about when you're in your downtime. 5 very important things that you probably didn't know, but makes a whole lot of sense. I'm going to break them all down. Number 1, discipline has a better attendance record than inspiration. You can be inspired all day long. If you don't have the discipline to execute, then you're not doing anything. So discipline has a better attendance record than inspiration. Number 2, in order to lead the orchestra, you have to turn your back to the audience. If you're on Facebook, if you're on social media, whatever you're doing, if you're a crowd pleaser, sometimes to get the best show, you have to turn your back to the crowd and trust that everything is going well because you are focusing on the orchestra. The orchestra seeing you is more important than the audience seeing you. So understand that if you got to turn your back to the crowd, that's not a negative thing. That just means that you have to learn how to focus on that task at hand. Now, when I was in the Marine Corps, we used to do patrols, and we have a lead guy and we have a rear guy. But guess who the leader was? The leader was not in the front, it was the back guy. You have to lead from the rear. Why? Because if I'm in the front leading, I have to turn my back to see who's behind me and make sure they following me. If I turn my back, the enemy has access to me. But if I lead from the rear, I have my whole team in front of me and they can hear my voice from behind them. I can see the whole field and I can play Michael Jordan because I can get the plays out from the rear because I see everybody got their eyes forward. There's a story in the Bible where they was getting ready to fight a war, fight a battle, and it's similar to the 300 where this battle, this one army was outnumbered by the other army, and God told, I think it was Aaron, is one of those boys, I can't remember exactly, but the story was God told the man to send half your army home. He said, why? Because the smaller numbers, when God does things, the little become the great. He said, have them all to come out and drink water. And the one that put their head down to drink, send them home. The one that bring the water to their mouth, that's what you're going to use. And it ended up being only like 300 men against 300,000. And the 300,000 lost the battle because God used the 300 men to beat 300,000 because he believed that less is more, because when God fighting your battles, you don't have to worry about numbers. He can get the most done. That's the battle when God calls the sun to stop moving so that it stay daylight long enough for them to win the battle. Number 3, being more assertive will help you from being resentful. People resent things because they're not the first to do it, or they should have tried, or they should have done that. People all the time are jealous of their friend because their friend had enough courage to step up and try something and succeed. Be more assertive yourself. I said a couple of weeks ago, how many shots would you make if you knew you couldn't miss? How many shots would you attempt if you knew you couldn't miss? Be more assertive, because that'll keep you from being resentful in the end. Number 4, today is the tomorrow that you were so worried about yesterday. I'm gonna say it again. Today is the tomorrow you were so worried about yesterday. People say, I can't deal with this today. Tomorrow my life's getting cut off. I gotta deal with this. And so tomorrow happens, and now it's like you're still here, you're still alive, everything's still going. So understand that today is the tomorrow you was worried about yesterday. And the last thought, the last point I want to make is this. You suffer more than necessary when you suffer before it's necessary. Understand what I'm saying. If you have a son and he's 10 years old and you're a father with a beard and you shave your beard, he's watching you shave. Now the razor is going to be a blessing to him when he's ready for it. But at 10 years old, you give him a razor, he's going to do nothing but cut up his face. So you're going to suffer more than necessary when you suffer before it's necessary. It's not time for him to have that razor yet. A lot of you all right now are suffering right now because you're trying to do something before your season is here. And because it's too soon, you're going through a lot of heartache and pain. So understand that God is not mocked. Everything has a purpose and place under the sun. Wait till your season comes, but be prepared for when it rains. When God told Noah it was going to rain, it had never rained before in the history of the world. So he didn't even know what rain was. And he was supposed to build a boat, an ark, to actually to go against the rain. And until his time was there, he was laughed at, he was talked about, because he was doing something before his season. But when he got the call from God, he was able to get in position. So whatever you're asking God for in your life right now, be prepared for the rain. Start building your ark so you can be ready and you won't have to go through any unnecessary pain before it's necessary. This your boy Daniel Lyons Evans. I hope y'all enjoyed the show today. We had a great show. Thank you once again, brother, for coming in and spending time with us. Hey, we get some good things going in the future. Tune in, stay in tune with what's going on inside the den. You'll be surprised what we got going on. But we will see you all next time inside the den. Happy Easter, everyone. Have a blessed evening.
Stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
I'm a lion, ain't nothing but anything. We on fire, and my brothers, they on fire too. And we'll fight for each other, that's what lions do.
Progression of the team is the purpose of our devotion. You can see that we've been working and really having some motion. None of it was given, you know that we had to hustle. And that's just how it is when you coming up out the struggle. They say it takes a village when you raising a child. And they all turn into your family after a while. We gotta feed into each other, show love to one another. Not a race, but I know we can all finish the mile. When we step up in the den, you letting go of your past. You the only person that can really hold yourself back. The pride and strength of a lion is truly your match. Everybody has it when you a part of the pack. Now this ain't the type of place that'll judge you for who you are. We just get you on your way to becoming a superstar. I told you once before and I can tell you again. Come and join the brotherhood if you really just trying to win. What's up?
Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel. Just tell me if it's real. Brothers need to stick together. As a team, we can make it wherever. Just tell me how you feel.
Tell me how you feel.
Just tell me if it's real.
myself.